Hey, today I'm going to show you how to make Instagram ads work with a small budget. Now, Instagram is absolutely incredible to make your business grow, but there's a few things to keep in mind to make sure you don't go and waste your budget and to effectively use the ads platform. Now, the first thing to keep in mind is that Instagram works really good for B2C businesses. If you are selling to consumers, Instagram is going to work incredibly well, particularly e-com. If you're doing e-commerce, Instagram is the place to sell. Okay, that should be the very first ad platform you're jumping onto. I would say that if you're doing B2B, it could be a good mid-funnel strategy. So, people who are website visitors, people who have already interacted with your business, you could go ahead and retarget them through email lists using Instagram. But I would generally stay away from B2B advertising with Instagram if that's going to be your starting off strategy. Consider something like Google or LinkedIn ads. They work considerably better for B2B. The next point is creative. That's basically 80% of the work that you're going to do with Instagram ads. I would even say 90%, let's say. Creative is basically the most important thing to keep in mind. Okay, so you need to consistently test hooks, and your creatives should be videos. You should create primarily video ads. You can go and post text ads, you can go and post image ads. They're almost going to be a waste of time, almost always going to be a waste of time. I would stick primarily to video ads for Instagram. And testing hooks is the most important thing. You can go ahead and record the exact same video 20 times, just make sure you change the hook. The first 3 seconds of the Instagram ad is going to decide whether somebody scrolls or keeps watching. So optimizing those first 3 seconds is unbelievably important. That's going to be one of the highest leverage things you can possibly do. So when we actually go through Instagram, let's set up a campaign. So let's say we are a e-commerce company. Well, we'd like sales, catalog ads. This is quite useful. So you can set this up through platforms like Shopify and WooCommerce and things like that. So they will go ahead and set all that up for you by default. So Advantage campaign budget. I actually like turning this on. It's got considerably better over the years, and what it will do is it will intelligently and adaptively optimize your campaign spend across all of your different ad sets and ads. So whichever ads are performing the best and whichever ads Meta believes can go ahead and scale the best, they will actually allocate more money and more spend to that ad set and that ad. So it's an intelligent way of testing more creatives. An issue that you might run into is that when you're testing new creatives with Advantage campaign budget, it may result in no spend actually going to that ad set at the start. So it may be worth creating another campaign so you can actually go ahead and test ad sets or new ads, just to go ahead and force a bit of spend to them. And if they don't perform particularly well, then just turn them off. If they do perform well, then you can go and copy that into your main campaign, and you get to go and use all this intelligent stuff like advanced campaign budgeting. So A/B testing, this, you may think it sounds like a good idea, but usually what this does is it will essentially go and create another campaign. But the way that we actually want to A/B test our campaigns and our ad sets and our ads and things like that is just by creating another ad set. When we've gone ahead and created this campaign, we can just go and duplicate it and then add more ads and then add more ads into the ad set. So I would probably not bother with this. Just create more ad sets. That's how we're going to A/B test. Great, so let's move on to the ad set level. So conversion tracking. This is the make or break, really, in right next to actually getting a good creative, you need to make sure your conversion tracking is rock solid. If your conversion tracking doesn't work, you're dead in the water. How all of these platforms work is that they're incredibly data and conversion and AI and machine learning heavy. So if you don't feed the beast, if you don't feed their platform, if you don't feed their algorithm with conversion data, you are going to be done, all right? It's not going to work. So you need to make sure that your conversion tracking is set up absolutely rock solid, and you're using, most importantly, I would argue, server-side conversion tracking. Now, if you're using something like Shopify, Shopify's conversion tracking integration with Facebook, with Meta, goes ahead and handles all of this. So if you have the opportunity to do something like a WooCommerce sync or a Shopify or HubSpot, whatever, sync of your conversions to Facebook, rather than going and doing it in something like Google Tag Manager, you should do that, because Shopify can do a better job than anybody else, because they're going to go and send every tiny little signal to Facebook, to Meta, to make your ads run better and to feed more data. So performance goal, you should always go ahead and optimize for conversions. Maximize value of conversions requires a lot of conversion data, so this isn't really a thing that you should be considering, particularly on a small budget at the start of your campaign. Maximize number of landing page views. All of these are kind of irrelevant, okay? We want money, we want conversions, we want sales, we don't care about landing page views. If you pick any of these, what you're going to find is that Meta is very good at finding people who click on adverts, but never actually buy. So you're going to be getting a lot of very clicky people who never end up spending any money. So cost per result goal, this is something that you might want to consider at some point in the future, but once again, like I said, as we're working with kind of a tight budget, we don't have the flexibility to be able to turn this on. This requires a lot of conversion data in your account to run properly, so just leave that empty for now. Dynamic creative, that's going away, so just, ignore that basically. Budget and schedule. So your budget, the way to go and think about what is the minimum budget that I could possibly spend on Meta is basically what is the most amount of money you could spend every single day for 2 to 3 months without making anything back. That should be your budget consideration. If you go, okay, I can spend maybe $3,000 a month, that'd be considered like a medium-sized budget, or the small to medium-sized budget, $3,000 a month. So divide that by 30, that's $100 a day. Go from there, right? So what's the most amount of money you can spend for 3 months, and then you divide that by 90 to get your daily spend, and then that's your daily budget. There we are. Budget scheduling, ignore this stuff. So audience controls. Now, it used to be kind of recommended to have tight audience definitions in Meta. But Meta is almost entirely running off of machine learning and algorithm-based. It runs very heavily off of an algorithm now. So really what you should be doing is just setting a location and setting a minimum wage, and then just basically leaving everything else. So you may think, oh, well, Dylan, that's going to show my ad to everybody. No, it won't. Okay, it literally will not. If you've ever used Meta's Shorts feature, right? Something like Instagram Reels, you know that your algorithm is incredibly specific to exactly what you want to see, all right? So that's what they're showing to people as a free offering, to show them funny videos on Instagram. Now imagine the algorithm behind their advertising network. So it's probably as good as Instagram Shorts, if not better, because they actually stand to make money off of it, and there's actual real end goals that they can go ahead and optimize their algorithms towards, which are conversions, right? So go ahead and be quite vague with your audience controls. Don't get super specific. Lookalikes don't really work anymore. They're just campaigns, and ad platforms are blind. Over the last few years, unfortunately, you can't really do lookalikes. You can't really do website visitors. Third-party cookies deprecation has finish this off, basically. Apple's iOS 14 has finished this off. So you want to be very vague with your audience targeting. Advantage plus audience. So this is basically, this is where you can start to be a little bit more specific with like roughly where you would like to direct Facebook to start finding you an audience. But the thing to keep in mind with Advantage Plus is that it's not like a hard and fast rule. It's not a strict, you must only show my ads to people in these target groups. What it will do is it will start with those people, and then it will naturally go and expand to people who it believes can get conversions. So these are not hard, these are starting points, basically. Placements, Advantage Plus placements, leave that as is. And yeah, ad setup. So, you know, basically go and, all this is self-explanatory. Your format should be a single image or video. I really haven't had too much success with the other ones. Sometimes carousel ads can work. If you have your shopping feed connected, that may be worth something considering. And yeah, that's basically it. So that's it on campaign setup. A few things to keep in mind is offer. You should be very heavily offer driven. Okay, everybody is selling things. Gone are the days where you can sell things with just purely, here's my product, here's the price, enjoy, right? You should be very heavily focusing on your offer. I created a video called How to Build an Offer So Good People Feel Stupid Saying No. And I'll go ahead and link that in the description. But you should be heavily focusing on building a slam dunk offer to get people to look at your ad. The hook hooks them in, right? The offer is actually what gets them to buy from you. So if you don't have a slam dunk offer, you're going to be getting a lot of views and you may get a lot of clicks, but you're not going to be getting very many purchases. The next point is advertising is very expensive. Pay-per-click advertising, like Meta ads, is very expensive. So something you all need to take into account nowadays is we need to work with higher ticket items. Okay, you just need to sell things that are more expensive. Because interestingly enough, you may think that it's 10 times harder to sell something that's $100 in comparison to something that's $10. It's not. Okay, it might be 1.5 or 2 times harder, but it's not 10 times harder. Making 10 times more money is not 10 times as hard, okay? So you should try and sell things that are as expensive as you can reasonably sell a decent volume of. And the reason we want volume is to go ahead and feed conversion data into Facebook. So the conversion volume you roughly want to go for is about 20 to 30 conversions a month. So if you work backwards from your budget and you go and Google things like what is the average e-commerce conversion rate Instagram ads? It's 2.2%. It's 2.2%. So essentially just take into account the expected conversion rate of whatever you're selling, and then you can kind of work backwards from there on roughly how many conversions you should be getting according to your budget per month, taking into account things like average cost per clicks and things like that. Yeah, and that's it. So if you'd like to work with me, check out the links in the description. Have a great day.